Here's how I train pull-ups and rows to build muscle. I stick to the two basic pulling movements, pronated and supinated. This way I can effectively build my back and biceps. Let's start with pull-ups. Pronated pull-ups, also known as regular pull-ups, are my favourite and most used exercise to build my back and biceps. Simply doing lots of pull-ups will build muscle. Everybody finds pull-ups hard, and the guys who are doing 20 to even 30 to even more reps have unreal physiques, big backs and big arms. So I try to increase my pull-up number all the time. I'm currently doing sets of 12 to 15 when I pump them out, and I know the more pull-ups I can do, the bigger my back and biceps will be. So purely just focusing on pronated pull-ups and doing them regularly is a great way of building muscle. This is why the regular pull-up is one of my top 3 exercises of all time. Another great way of building muscle is adding weight. The correlation here is the more weight you can push in the gym, the bigger and stronger you will be. So the more weight you can pull up, the bigger and stronger you will be. The sweet spot for building muscle is 8 to 15 reps. However, you can stretch that to around 6 to 20 reps in terms of how hard the exercise is. So working on heavy weighted pull-ups will not only increase your body weight reps, your weighted reps, the weight you can pull up, but it increases your capacity for building muscle. So I recommend working on weighted pull-ups once a week, as you not only get better at pull-ups, but you will build more muscle. Moving on to chin-ups. The same principle applies as the pull-ups. Chin-ups target more of the bicep, especially the peak/short head of the bicep, whereas the pull-up targets the long head of the bicep. As the bicep only has these two heads, you can actually hit them both by just doing pull-ups and chin-ups alone. But what's so great about pull-ups and chin-ups is they grow your back as well. So why wouldn't you want to grow a full bicep at the same time as growing a thick back? As I mainly focus on pull-ups and chin-ups, I of course do weighted chin-ups as well for extra strength and muscle gains. These two pull-ups are pretty much the only ones you need for the rest of your life. However, there are more pull-up variations that I occasionally throw in for more volume. Close grip, pronated and supinated. This targets more of the arms and forearms over the back. So if I wanted an arm focused session, these are great to throw in. Staggered pull-ups, a great way of training each side individually and really focusing on balancing your pulling strength. Off-hand grip pull-ups, for a dynamic movement on a pull-up, basically being functional with all types of pulling. However, like I said, pull-ups and chin-ups are the only ones you need. Moving on to rows. 2 things I will say about rows. Number 1, when pull-ups are fatigued and you can no longer get the required reps you're after, by adding in rows you can get more reps on the back and the biceps, as it's a regressed version of the pull-up. However, in saying that comes number 2. Rows can be really hard and amazing for building muscle on their own. Let's start with the basics and the regressed versions. Regular rows, pronated and supinated. These are just like the pull-up and chin-up, but easier. Not only is this the best way to start calisthenics and start building muscle, but it's great to add more load on the back and biceps. I like to go for high reps between 50 to even 30 reps just to really work my muscles, get a huge pump and increase my pulling capacity. Doing these after lots of pull-ups means you are increasing your amount of sets put on your back and biceps, and of course they will be harder because you're already fatigued. This way you are getting in muscle building sets due to pre-fatigue. Moving on to rows being just as hard as pull-ups. Adding a decline or a weight or even both to rows make them just as effective for building your back as pull-ups. Leveling up your rows will translate to your pulling strength. Not only that, but will be unreal for strength and muscle building gains. So if you were to only work on getting better at rows and doing no pull-ups, you would still have huge biceps and a huge back because they are just as hard. As you have seen, there are all variations of rows just like pull-ups, but I prioritize pronated and supinated. Side note, the best bicep pump I get out of any pulling movement is from supinated rows. The weekly plan. Sets and reps. I like to do pull-ups and rows 2 to 3 times a week. I change up the focus each time. One day it will be weighted pull-ups or chin-ups, another day it will be high volume, just bodyweight pull-ups and rows, and another day might be weighted rows and bodyweight pull-ups / chin-ups. Having a variation throughout the week is great for building muscle and also increasing the number of reps you can do. And like we said before, the more reps you can do, the more muscle mass and strength you will have. In terms of reps and sets, I aim for each set between 6 and 20 reps, and I do between 3 to 5 sets each exercise. This should be without saying, but the rep range is going to be lower the harder the exercise is. So whether it's weighted pull-ups or pre-fatigued pull-ups, I will only get between 6 to 8 reps, but if I do rows or fresh pull-ups, it will be between 12 and 20 reps. I always push myself close to failure and sometimes burn out until failure. I'm fully natural, by the way, and I'm still at the beginning of my pull-up journey, so I can only imagine how far it is going to take my physique and my strength. Let's go! A quick overview. Basic pull-up workouts build muscle. Focus on pronated and supinated as the main workout. Rows are a great way for extra volume, but also a great workout in itself. Do more pull-ups, but be sure to rest. I will be posting full workouts soon, which have helped me build muscle, so look forward to that. Keep on doing pull-ups. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and as always, look after your body, stay healthy. Cheers.